From the News Channel 5 network, this is the Plus Side of Nashville.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Tawanda Coleman. Often our children take the simple yet fun things in life for granted, you know, like riding a bike or playing baseball or going fishing. But for children with disabilities, often those types of activities are difficult or near impossible. In 2003, a simple question asked to a child confined to a wheelchair led to the establishment of the organization Bass in Buddies. I'll tell you more about that enlightening question, what was asked, and how regular fishing trips have become a new way of life for some children with disabilities in our area. That's going to be later in the show. But first, we want to talk about another young man who was the inspiration behind a nonprofit. Some of you may remember this story on our newscast a few years ago. Chase Donald was a courageous and thoughtful 10-year-old who died from cancer. 7 years ago, before he passed away, he did an incredible, selfless act of kindness. Chase's legacy lives on today through the nonprofit, the Gr8t, founded by his parents, Steve and Jennifer Yates, who join me now. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning.
And thank you so much for being here. You know, I remember seeing the story that our own News Channel 5 reporter, Gr8t, did on Chase. I know there's a highway named after him, there's a school named after him, a special award. He was just a special young man. But for those people out there who maybe don't know Chase's story, Jennifer, would you mind telling us why he was such a special little boy?
Well, to me, he was
special.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He sure was.
Yeah.
He was just thoughtful, and he was caring, and he was, I think, he was competitive, and he liked to achieve things, but yet it was more of a success for him to help others before he helped himself, and that was just the epitome of who he was.
So before he passed, he had a wish that the Make-A-Wish Foundation wanted to grant him.
Yes.
And rather than say, oh, I want to go to Disneyland, you know, I want a whole new sports room, what did he say he wanted?
He wanted to give it away. From the beginning, he wouldn't discuss it. He was like, I'm just sick. I haven't done anything to deserve something. Give it to someone who needs it. So he went back and forth of, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to talk about it, until finally at the end when he knew, you know, I'm tired of treatments. I just want to go home. And he said, and I'll talk about my Make-A-Wish, but only if y'all will tell me I can give it away to someone else. And he said, you know, the school needs new gym equipment. And he said, so can we just get them new balls and new equipment and stuff for the other kids who are going to grow up there to play with? And so that's what he did.
That's what he did, and the story that we covered just showed what a remarkable young man he was, and so special and forward-thinking too, Steve, because even before he passed, he knew he wanted this to go on for him, the legacy of helping others. He wanted to continue to do that, didn't he?
He did, and his legacy lives on and will live on through the Gr8t. His impact in the community is profound. And you know, he was intentional about his impact. And he lets us all know it's never too early, it's never too late to be intentional about the impact and the footprint you want to leave behind in this life. And at 10 years old, he just had the wisdom and the foresight that many of us as adults lack.
I know.
And he just had that it factor.
Did.
And he was able to really just plan ahead. And here we are talking about him 8 years later. And
exactly.
And ongoing,
we will be talking about him. You're exactly right, Steve. So last fall, you guys came up with a great way, although his legacy lives on a highway sign and in schools and awards, but he's going to be giving back to others through the Gr8t.
Correct. When he was in the hospital, he said, I want to help others. I want to stop this. And so we focused most of our direction right after on research. And then I thought, you know, I really want something that's more Chase. And so I kept thinking about how when we would sit there in that hospital and how the little things that just kept piling up and piling up that was overwhelming for me as a parent, where it took my thoughts and strength away from him. And so it's those little things. I happened to have one of our kids who were in Baltimore, and they were there for 6 months. And I just wanted to help them so much and do so, you know, because they were like, you know, the HOA was saying the grass needs cutting, the bills still need to be paid, but here they are away in Baltimore, and they still needed these things. So I said, you know what? That's it. That's what we need to do, because there's so many great organizations out there that will help in other areas. So, but this little niche is Chase. And so I said, this is it. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to focus on. So that's where we come in at.
Yeah.
We do those little things to where the parents can focus on their child, and we'll take care of all those other little things that they can't get to and need to keep their direction focused on.
And what a huge weight, Steve, lifted off the shoulder of these parents who are already going through a lot of traumatic experiences with a sick child. And I know you all put a lot of thought into this organization. You've got a fundraiser coming up that I want to tell everybody about, how they can help give back to the community and those folks that are in need, and as well as to help Chase his desires and his wishes to carry on. But we got to take a break first. And when we come back, we'll have more on the great Chase right after this.